Today is All Saints' Day. It is a day when we remember those who have gone on before us, when we remember the blessed dead. And it seems to me that this year especially, there may be some of those blessed dead who are especially close to you in this particularly difficult year of so many deaths, so much grief. When you remember the saints of yours, I know that you're like me. You know that they are gone, and yet still they're deeply, deeply here with us. Today is a day when we reflect upon all the ways that we, as the blessed living, can also be an influence in the world, knowing that the veil between us, the living and the dead, is a very thin one, and the time that we share on earth is a very holy and blessed opportunity, shared together with the creation and with one another. And how we're able to bless one another with our particular presence in the world really is up to us. And there are myriad ways that we can be a blessed presence to one another. So I wanted to share this little story with you. It aired on CNN some years ago, and it's the story of Iko and those whose lives she touches. Amidst the sea of bike jerseys and bike shorts in New Jersey's city to shore 150-mile bike ride that is done every year to benefit multiple sclerosis research, there is this unlikely rider who stands out. She's a tiny 84-year-old woman wearing a neat green turtleneck jacket and a dress and an embroidered jacket. On her feet, a pair of high-heeled pumps. Her salt and pepper hair is peeking out from under her bike helmet, sitting jauntily on her head, and it indicates the fact that she is indeed, even though her dress doesn't suggest it, a participant in this bike ride. Her old-fashioned one-speed bicycle is purple, and it has a large wire basket on the front that carries her belongings and her number for the bike ride. Lan Yin-si doesn't give you the impression that she could go 5 miles on this old bike, let alone 150 miles, but that in fact is what she's done for the past 26 years. Iko, as she's known to her friends and family, is an institution at this annual bike ride, and over the years, she has used her presence on earth to become a symbol of hope and determination for those who participate in the City to Shore ride, and also to MS patients themselves. It all started when she worked years ago in a hospital. She was trained as a shiatsu massage expert in Japan years ago. And while she was working at the hospital, she began to regularly give massages to cancer patients until one day, about 26 years ago, she gave massage to a patient suffering from MS. And it was then and there that she learned more about that particular disease and about this bike ride that was done to raise money for research. She said, in Taiwan, riding a bike is very common, and her grandson, Iko's grandson, Alan Sim, also participates in this bike ride, and he said every year she would ride her bike and go to church, and she was dressed in just regular street clothes, and so she just decided one year that she was going to do this bike ride. And so she grabbed her little one-speed bike, and suddenly she was signed up planning to do the ride in her normal biking outfit, the high heels and the dress. This is just the way I do it, she said. This is the way I ride my bike. So one year the family decided to honor her commitment by creating a team for the ride in her name called Team Iko. And her grandson, Alan Sims, says that 17 riders, all family and friends from all over the place, joined the team to participate in the ride. That year, the City to Shore bike ride raised $5 million for MS research and cure and care, and Team Iko was responsible for more than $6,000 of that. Sims says that his grandmother's determination is inspirational for both the riders and for the MS patients themselves. He said, When the last rider comes in, the MS Society usually has a police car or a fire truck with all the sirens going, and usually that last person coming in is my grandmother. So the people know all about her. They just sit around for multiple hours after most everyone else is finished, just waiting and talking, and then she'll come riding in. Hours after everyone else is finished, but people don't mind. They're cheering, they're taking pictures, they're asking for autographs. It's like being with a celebrity. I think it's because of her personality and her demeanor. It really just gives people hope, and it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. As long as you are persistent, you're helping other people and making a difference. He added, she's really a pretty remarkable woman, and I'm just hoping that some of her genes got passed down to me. And you know, I have the most pressure of anyone on the tour because I know I can't quit, even if I'm tired, because my grandmother is back there somewhere behind me. We've been blessed ourselves, haven't we, by our own version of Alan Sims' grandmother. We have a whole line of people through the years of our lives that have been back there behind us somewhere, and now maybe they're on in the communion of saints in the transition ahead of us, showing us how it is done. Eco and her grandson Alan and the scripture story for today of Elijah and Elisha tell us the simple archetypal stories of the living blessed presence, those who still physically live beside us and influence us and show us the way, and those who have gone on before us, who are now one with God somehow, whatever that may mean in the communion of saints. I love the story that Alicia has read for us today from 2 Kings. Elijah has been the mentor and friend and teacher and role model, wise and good, for the younger Elisha. And one day when he is quite old, Elijah says, I'm headed out now, my dear one. I'm headed out farther than you can go with me, and you must stay here. Elisha is in denial. No way, you can't go. I'm not ready. I can't do this life without you. How many people this hard year have felt that jolt of reality and pain. Elijah lingers for a little while longer. Elisha is trying everything to keep him alive, and his friends are saying, you know, God's going to take him soon. Yeah, thanks, I don't want to hear that. Be quiet. I don't want to know this. Elisha says to Elijah, no, don't say you're going. If you're going, I'm going to go with you. Perhaps you too have known that kind of grief. Finally, they reach the Jordan River. In African American spirituals and in Hebrew traditions too, the Jordan is the symbol for death. Jordan's waters are chilly and cold. Elijah says, before I leave you, what of my soul can I give you? That's a beautiful question to ponder, isn't it? What essences of themselves have the blessed departed left with you? Some parts may be tangible things that they've left you. A necklace, a journal, a song, some photos remain to remind us. But other parts of what they have left are woven into our very selves, the way we see life, the truth that we are growing to understand over time. Elisha, for his part, thinks, and then he says, won't you give me a double portion of your spirit? Make me you times two. Which I think is like Eco's grandson realizing that he has to keep riding his bike. He has to keep going ahead and faster because the people with MS can't ride this ride. And so he rides for them. And because he holds a double portion of his grandmother's spirit, he has to ride for her. Today, All Saints' Day is like a keepsake too. We look at it every year. We have All Saints' Day. We look at it, we experience it to remind us of them, of those who have gone before us. As Tina told us in the children's story today, all through the world's cultures are the days of the dead, in which it is acknowledged that a part of their blessed Holy Spirits remain in us. They have given us the gift of themselves, and that gift always remains. In the words of St. John Chrysostom, they are now wherever we are. Give me a double portion of your Spirit. And then Elijah goes. It's a blessed, peaceful death. It is full of dignity and power as symbolized by that chariot of fire, but dignified and peaceful or untimely and tragic, expected or not, no matter. It hurts us when we lose them. In this time of COVID, we are reminded in poignant ways to hold all of life very lightly, because it is only for a short time that we have each other. And Elisha hurts even though he has been filled with his beloved mentor's inspirational spirit. And in verse 12, we read these painful words. Elisha kept watching and crying out, "Father, Father, the chariots of Israel and its horsemen." And when he could no longer see him, he grasped his own clothes and tore them into pieces. When we can no longer see them. If you've ever been in the room with someone who has died, you know that there is this moment when, even though their body still remains where it was before, things change and you can no longer see them. The person you loved has gone. I picture Elisha crying, huddled on the ground and ripping his clothes in agony. But time passes as it does, and Elisha heals a little bit, and he picks himself up and he goes back to his life like him. We do that as well with those we have loved and lost, and after a time we can look back on those who have gone, no matter how complex our relationships may have been with them. And we often find that our journeys are formed and reformed because of them. That we are invited to follow our own paths in new ways. The New Testament, Christian Testament, and many, many other spiritual traditions proclaim that somehow, some way, somewhere, we still go on, present within and for each other, and also in the communion of saints and wrapped up in the beloved one who holds us all. And it's a mystery. The author of the Hebrews passage that Holly read for us today pictures that mystery as a great cosmic sporting event. The image of a great stadium filled with a great cloud of witnesses. That these blessed witnesses are not gone from us, but they are right there with us as we are running the race, and that they are cheering for us, urging us on, their brokenness healed, but they still with us. And in that instant, when we remember them, they are in God's self, healed and perfect and forever and mysteriously here in us, with us too. I love that image. Today they are like Alan with his grandmother Eco. Today we are also like Alan and Eco. We are like Elisha and his mentor, Elijah. We are blessed witnesses to the saints in our lives, and we get to pass on the blessing to those who ride, run, walk, live beside, behind, and before us. And so as you meditate with Thanksgiving this year on the mystery of loss and the mystery of learning and love and joy in our shared journey, I invite you to know that you are not alone in that journey, that you are blessed and you are held by God, that you and I are in this journey together with the great and beautiful creation and with the one who holds all of life. I also want to share with you this little beautiful, sweet poem that I always use and use with joy, with humor, and with reverence, really. I love this poem. It's by Patty Tana, and it's called Posthumus. Scatter my ashes in my garden so that I can be near my loves. Say a few honest words over me, sing a gentle song, join hands in a circle of flesh. Please tell some stories about me making you laugh. I love to make you laugh. And when I've had time to settle and green gathers into buds, remember I love blossoms bursting in spring. As the season ripens, remember my persistent passion. And if you come in my garden on an August afternoon, pluck a bright red globe, let the juice run down your chin and the seeds stick to your cheek. Because when I'm dead, I want folks to smile and say, that Patty, she sure is some tomato. So remember today, friends. Remember them in your heart. Make plans to be a blessed presence yourself. And look around you at the saints and give thanks. May it be so for you. Amen.